Many have gleefully cited the reports by the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Rob Silverman Commission as ironclad proof that no politicization took place. One of the most insightful counters to that claim comes from former National Intelligence Officer Powell Pillar. Any intelligence analyst would be reluctant to make the damning admission that his paper had been politicized. And because in my experience, the great majority of cases of actual politicization, successful politicization, are invariably subtle. Rob Silverman report. In sum, there was no politicization of the intelligence product around Iraq. Poor tradecraft, exacerbated by poor management, contributed to the erroneous assessments of Iraq's W&D programs. These problems were further exacerbated by the reluctance of intelligence community management to foster and consider dissenting views. WinPAC analysts described an environment in which managers rewarded judgments that fit the consensus that Iraq had active W&D programs and discouraged those that did not. That they managed to acknowledge that atmosphere and still assert that no politicization took place is a stupefying feat of psychological gymnastics. Slate Magazine, April 5th, 2005. Co-chairman Chuck Robb and his colleagues have a trick that allows them to deny the obvious with a straight face. They rely heavily on the CIA's definition of politicization. Alteration of analytical judgments under pressure to reach a particular conclusion. Can torturing a definition violate the Geneva Convention? If an analyst loads the dice so that his boss can tell the president that evidence of Iraqi W&D is a slam dunk, that's not politicization. If an analyst tilts to the wrong side of a factual question in hopes of increasing funding for his division, that's not politicization. Inside this legalistic boundary, it only counts as a politicization if a policymaker explicitly demands that an analyst change his views to produce a desired result. The fall of the House of Bush. For the vice president to be meeting with analysts, that was a real red flag, said one State Department official. It was so unusual. It was clear that people were being leaned on. Usually, if a high-ranking official wants information, it gets tasked out through the appropriate channels. It was highly unusual to lock these people in a room and keep pressing. It crossed the line between intellectual inquiry and not accepting the real answer. Together, Cheney and Scooter Libby made about 10 visits to CIA headquarters in Langley, a highly irregular occurrence. I was at the CIA for 24 years, said former CIA analyst Melvin Goodman. The only time a vice president came to the CIA building was for a ceremony, to cut a ribbon, to stand on the stage, not to harangue analysts about finished intelligence. Isn't it curious that Cheney and Libby spent so much time at the CIA, but didn't bother talking to the centrifuge scientists on the tubes? Russ Hoyle's excellent book crystallized that question even more. A spokesman for Cheney claimed that the vice president didn't know about the internal debate within the intelligence community until a 2002 National Intelligence Estimate was published on October 1st. The notion that Cheney, a meticulous and aggressive investigator, could have been in the dark about the DOE's view on the tubes strains credulity.